All right, hello, I am Mr. Rogers.
And I'm Mrs. Froman.
And this is the last video notes of the year.
Last one. Yeah.
Man, how about it? So this is on 3-2 on amphibians, which will lead us into our frog dissections, kind of the idea here. So amphibians, they are ectothermic vertebrates.
Ectothermic.
Ecto, so they still depend on the outside.
Outside.
Yep.
Get their heat from the outside.
And they are vertebrates. They have the bilateral symmetry.
All right, amphibian facts we have. They are the first vertebrates to have legs. The fish
Didn't have
not
legs.
So much. There's one that kind of has legs, but not really legs. They live mainly in water and damp habitats. They have that strong skeleton that they can connect their muscles to, so they have muscular legs for their movement on land. Their eyes, you can kind of see it in the picture, kind of the bottom part. Yeah, right there. It has a transparent membrane to keep those eyes moist. Keeps them from drying out.
Because they are kind of still connected to the water in a lot of ways there,
yeah.
So as far as food, amphibians are mostly carnivores that hunt for their prey. Think about the frog catching a fly. There you go, getting the mealworm.
Mealworm, yeah.
And so life cycle, as far as the life cycle goes, some species have external fertilization, others have internal fertilization. That means if it happens in the water usually or inside the frog. And they actually have an egg that has a protective kind of jelly coating, and they're laid in water. So you probably have seen these if you're kind of tooled around the water's edge in the springtime. It looks like a ball of snot, basically, is what it kind of looks like there.
Little black dots in it. Those are the toad eggs.
Yep, exactly. So you've probably seen it before they even realize it. And the eggs hatch into larvae, which live underwater until they become adults. That'd be the tadpoles. Yeah. And as they go through that metamorphosis, they become adults. They actually lose their gills and develop lungs to breathe on land.
All right, there they are. Little tadpoles.
From eggs, the tadpole on land.
They get their legs. Yeah, because they start out, they don't have any legs. They look like little fish.
Yeah, much more fish-like, and they become more animal-like.
So frogs and toads. What's the difference? Well, they all have muscular legs for jumping. They have those webbed feet for swimming. Or if it's more of a land kind of frog, it's going to have those little suckers on the pads of its feet.
You can see the pads
so it can
on
climb.
there, yeah.
So like tree frogs are going to have that. The frogs have that really smooth, moist skin, and they have to be really moist all the time, otherwise they dry out. And toads have that dry, bumpy skin, so they have a little more protection against that dryness than the frogs do. But they will dry out if they aren't near water or a damp spot. The tadpoles are all herbivores. They're going to be eating the plants and stuff in the pond that their eggs are laid in. But the adults do turn into predators and go after the...
Yeah. And with the skin, part of the reason frogs have to have that smooth skin is they actually absorb oxygen through their skin, so with that moisture. Yeah. So some of their O2, the oxygen they get, comes through their skin. Yeah,
they're not necessarily breathing it into their lungs.
And so another type of amphibian is a salamander. We find them here in Illinois. They tend to have long, slender bodies. They still have tails as adults. Many live in water or on land, but again, need to be near that moisture, damp soil. Now, some don't have lungs, and so they get all of their oxygen directly through their skin. So the salamanders, they don't have, actually, that's why they have to stay moist, because they're constantly, that diffusion, that O2 is diffusing through the skin, and CO2 is probably leaving the other way.
And amphibians are very sensitive little animals because they have that thin skin. Habitat destruction is a big problem. We have had several species of amphibians become extinct because of habitat destruction. And they're very sensitive to changes in the environment because of that thin skin. And their eggs that don't have shells, it's just that jelly stuff, that any pollution and stuff is going to get right in there. So they're considered what's called an indicator species, which means that when their population starts to decline, they're the first ones to feel the effects, but it's eventually going to travel up through the food chain, and you're going to see problems as you...
So if there's pollution or radiation in the water, you get things like this happening,
so you got some frogs with too many legs, not enough legs.
Half a leg,
Yeah, so if you see problems like that, you know that there's something wrong with the water, and it's going to cause problems in other species too.
All right, so 7th grade, we're going to stop there. In class, we'll get much more into the actual anatomy of the frog, down to different organ systems. That's kind of more of the general facts about frogs we're going to study before we get into the anatomy. So we thank you guys for watching all year long, and we'll see you guys later on.
Bye.